Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Brian Leonard and Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. We're talking a big one in the SEC, the Deep South's oldest rivalry, Georgia versus Auburn. Brian, interested in your thoughts here. We get the Georgia Bulldogs laying 14.5 now on the road in Jordan-Hare. This one's CBS 3:30 Eastern here, primetime in the SEC. 45.5 being the total. You liking anything in Auburn, Alabama on Saturday?
I don't think there's been a team more impressive this season than the Georgia Bulldogs. They've played 5 games so far, and they've outscored the opposition in the first quarter 91-6. And because of that, they've been able to rest some players in the second half of the games, and they've been able to keep everybody fresh. That's really going to help them as the season goes on. The defense coming off of back-to-back shutouts of Vanderbilt and Arkansas. Vanderbilt, yes, we can see that. Arkansas, that was a little bit of a surprise. Arkansas is a team that's played very well on this season, but they didn't have a chance against this Georgia defense. Auburn's a team that I've been disappointed with offensively. Defensively, they're still playing pretty well. Taking a look at sacks on the season, Georgia, plus sacks per game, +6, +3, +2, +1, +4. Auburn sacks per game, +6, +1, +1, +1, +3. These are two teams defensively that can get to the quarterback, but they're also two teams who don't allow sacks. Georgia's only allowed 2 sacks all season, and Auburn's allowed 3. So that tells me that I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Two teams that normally like to run the football, don't take a lot of chances. They'll see some things on defense that they haven't seen before, a little bit of pressure. I think the best way to take a look at this game for myself is playing the under, because I don't see Auburn scoring much against Georgia. They only gave up 3 to Clemson, 7 to UAB, and 13 to South Carolina. So, when you're playing a team that's only allowed 23 points in 5 games, I don't see this Auburn team scoring probably more than 10, 15, 14 points in this game. So I think the under is the way to play here. That's my best bet in this one.
Sure, and in the mid-40s, it's a low total in college football, but to Brian's points, low for a reason here, Kevin. And interested in your thoughts. A lot of people call this the Battle of Brothers. There's not a lot of room in between Athens, Georgia, and Auburn, Alabama. Fan bases kind of don't like each other. What do you think it happens in Jordan-Hare on Saturday?
Well, I completely agree with Brian, I should say. I already played that one. There's a free play right up on this under over on WagerTalk that I already bet. But if I had to pick a side, I would be on Auburn here. It's just a personal strategy of mine going back years. I just love fading big undefeated road favourites as we head into kind of the midpoint of the season, week 5, week 6. It's been a very profitable strategy for me over the seasons past. And, Georgia are at that point right now for me. The Bulldogs, as Brian said, they've barely put a foot wrong all year. Beat Clemson to open the season, held that excellent Arkansas team scoreless as well last week. And, they're just averaging by far and away the best defensive numbers out of any team on the season. 4.6 points per game, 3.2 yards per play allowed. I mean, just ridiculous numbers. But at the end of the day, this is the numbers game. Georgia's stock is at its absolute highest, right now, in my opinion. Line's already moved off a key number as well in this game. And, I'm looking to sell, and it's not a knock on what Georgia are doing right now. They're obviously a legitimate national contender this year, but, when you're dealing with a point spread, it's just a different ball game for me. It isn't about teams, as they say, it's about numbers. And, I have been slightly impressed with how Auburn have been playing. 14.5 is a big, big number. To be given them here. I was impressed with how they came back last week against LSU in the fourth quarter. I think Brian Harson's done a good job, especially as Brian said in the Tigers defense. He took them from 60th nationally on total opponent yards per game last season to now 22nd, where they're sitting, along with ranking 8th in opponent rushing defense as well. So, Auburn are a much, much improved outfit from the one getting battered by the likes of Northwestern last season. And I expect that to show again here on Saturday. So, agree with Brian completely. Already bet it. I like that under a lot, under 46. But if I had to pick a side here, I'd take that, plus 14.5 on Auburn.
Sure. I actually I'd agree with you. I think the Auburn Tigers a little underrated here. We saw them go up to Happy Valley there against Penn State. Kevin, 28-20 loss, but really, I think a lot of the calls went against Auburn. That was kind of a toss-up game up there. The next game against Georgia State, they kind of almost let one loss become two, and then bounce back heavy against LSU. And Georgia on the other side, like you're talking about, I mean, national championship contender, no doubt about it. But when you look at their schedule, Clemson, hey, this isn't the same Clemson we thought of. Outside of that, they're 4-1 ATS, 5-0 straight up. But really, who else have they played? Arkansas, it was a noon start on the road. So, hey, if you're looking to take a couple touchdowns with a home underdog here, War Eagle might be the side. Kevin Dolan bringing the heat. Brian Leonard as well. Guys, check them out at WagerTalk.com. Thanks for tuning into this video. And at WagerTalk.com, you hear us talking about the lines, 14, 14.5. Make sure to check out the live odds screen at WagerTalk.com. Check it out there. The tab towards the top right of the webpage. You can check out all the free live odds service up to date right there at WagerTalk.com.